3 ways how to let go of limiting beliefs for real. This is today's topic, and first things first, my name is Lydia. I'm a life and mindset coach for successful entrepreneurs and C-suite leaders. And here on the channel, I talk about all things mindset, manifestation, business growth, conscious creation, all of this. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thank you for your likes and your comments, and I really appreciate them very much. And if you're interested in coaching, go to the description, everything is written down there. Okay, let's get started with today's topic, limiting beliefs. It's such a big topic because all humans struggle with that. It's very normal. It's normal that you have all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of beliefs. This is why we have a mind, why we have a brain, like thoughts are running through them, and they are all thoughts and all beliefs out there. So what happens, just to give you a short idea, the programming period happens between 0 and 7. Also when you're in the womb already or still, you are being programmed by everything that's going on in your environment. So it's what you see, what you hear others talk about, what you experience, all of that directly goes into your small child brain and is being becoming your reality, so to say, because you don't have so much of a conscious mind yet. It's like your brain waves are or your brain functions on different brain waves in that age. So there is basically no guard who keeps certain thoughts out. Everything directly goes into imprinting your subconscious mind. It's it directly goes into your brain and becomes your experience, becomes your belief, all of that. So the first 7 years actually are crucial, and I hope you reconsider what you tell your children and how you deal with your children. But when it comes to you, we have a chance to reprogram ourselves. We can shift and change everything that happened in those times, in these early stages. So, but what happens? You basically build your belief system from early on, from all this imprinting, all this programming that happens in the early stages. And then later on, you have a set of beliefs that you basically work from, that you live from, without even being consciously aware of that. We can now become consciously aware of it and start shifting beliefs. And I always like to talk about your identity. So your identity comes with beliefs, with thoughts, with emotions and actions. If you want to experience a different reality, you have to shift your identity, and with a different identity come new beliefs, new thoughts, new actions, new emotions. So we shift on an identity level. However, how do we do that? And today I want to give you 3 ways that I work with and that my clients use to shift limiting beliefs. It's the focus today really is on thoughts that create your beliefs. There is I created a different video where it's all about how to process emotions. So you can watch that if you're really struggling with emotions, and I will probably do another video about that at some point. So today it will be more about what to do with these limiting thoughts that come up. Because limiting beliefs, yes, we have them, but a belief, what is a belief? In the end, a belief is something that then creates, again, it's almost like an identity. It then creates thoughts and emotions and actions. So what we want to look at today is really the thoughts that come up for you. So you're struggling with limiting thoughts, with negative thoughts, with thoughts that really don't benefit the scenario that you want to create in your life. So this is what we focus on today. So when you have, I explain where they come from, early childhood programming, but then it keeps adding, everything that goes on in your life keeps adding into that identity, more beliefs, more assumptions, more thoughts that come from that identity, so to say. And it keeps building and making this identity stronger, but we can change that, okay? So how, when you see in your life, in your day-to-day life, that certain negative thoughts show up, you can see that some of them are very predominant, or dominant. Some thoughts are just fleeting, it's one thought what if this doesn't work out, but then you forget it, it's not necessarily such a big thing. But sometimes we have this repeating thoughts, and they all come from this identity that we want to shift. They all come from this like almost like limiting identity that we're living in, instead of the identity we want to go to, or that we want to live from in order to experience our desired results. You know, I mentioned that in the previous video about identity shifting and reality shifting, how you shift from one identity to the other, and why this is important for creating a different reality. So please go back there and watch that video. So today, when you have limiting thoughts coming up that show your limiting beliefs, so to say, so your thoughts, as I said, are basically coming from your beliefs. If you have dominant thoughts coming again and again, they are basically your belief system. So what can you do? I wanted to give you 3 ways. I want to give you 2 ways that work in the moment. So the first one is acceptance or non-resistance. So what's happening? You're there enjoying your day, and then you have a train of thoughts of like, oh my God, this deal is not going to work. It's going to fall through. This is not working for me. This is shit. You know, like nothing ever works for me. I'm not good enough. You know, then you go down the spiral of first, only this thing doesn't work, but actually everything is shit and I'm shit and I never get things done and so on, you know? And no one likes me, you know, like you end up in this downward spiral of like everything is horrible. What do? The first one, as I said, is acceptance and non-resistance. So understand that these thoughts right now come from an identity of not having. They come from the identity, this project is not working, I'm not good at whatever I do. So it's an identity of not having versus an identity of, hey, this project is working, everything is fine, my life is perfect, everything is amazing, I am perfect, I'm amazing. You're not coming from that identity, because from that identity you have different thoughts. So you will have to shift back into the other, into the desired identity, so to say. How do you do that? Non-resistance and acceptance. I like to use the metaphor of a bully or a troll, you know, like that you have or that you see online in our lovely online world. So how can you take the energy away from a bully? You just don't feed them, or a troll, you don't feed them. You don't necessarily like go into resistance. So if these thoughts show up, instead of saying like, no, I'm good enough and shit, this is going to work, like leave me alone, you go into like inner conversation almost of, thank you, okay, whatever. Oh, perhaps not thank you, you could just say, whatever, okay, and keep going with your life. Whatever, you say I'm not good enough, whatever, if you say so. You're saying this project is not going to work out. Whatever, if you say so. You're saying you never get things done. Whatever, if you say so. I love that approach specifically for very strong negative thoughts and negative limiting beliefs, because sometimes they are so strong that you can't flip them. You can't easily shift into a different identity. You are so caught up in this negative, or in this non-desired identity, in the identity of not having, that it's almost impossible in that moment to shift. Sometimes it is, but for some people, you know, you can really get stuck there. So acceptance, telling the bully, whatever, if you say so, and you know what happens if a bully doesn't get a negative reaction from you? He's going to be silent. He's going to go away and look for a different victim, because bullies want the confrontation. They want to feed off your energy. They want to get a reaction from you so that they can keep fighting, and they can keep, like, they love when your energy goes up and becomes like more angry or more frustrated or sad or depressed or fearful. They feed off these strong negative emotions. If you don't give that to them in the moment, they will look for something else. They will go away. They will stop the work because they don't get what they are looking for from you. And the same with your negative beliefs, your negative thoughts that come from these very strong beliefs and assumptions in the moment. If you just almost give in, you surrender, you say, if you say so, whatever, okay, I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. You don't come at it from a place of, like, oh yeah, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, because this is fear. That again is fear energy. So you're not coming from that. You're coming from a neutral energy of like, whatever. It's almost like if you told me, hey, your name is Maria. And I would say, not really, but if you say so, whatever, keep going. I wouldn't start a fight because I don't care, I'm neutral. No, it's not my name, whatever, go, like, leave me alone. And the same with these beliefs. It's really powerful. In the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I can't give in to that. Like, I shouldn't do that. But you have to understand, non-resistance is your ultimate power with everything. Neutrality, a neutral state, is the state where everything then develops. So when you can get yourself to neutral, then you have already won. So instead of aiming for like, hey, I'm reframing these thoughts and I'm working on them now, and you go into whatever, if you say so, and you will feel the energy dissipate from those strong, from these strong limiting thoughts in the moment, and the energy with it, and the emotions with it. You will feel, okay, what's happening? It's silent all of a sudden. So you give in, kinda, but not going into fear and sadness and frustration. It's a giving in. Yeah, I think I've explained it enough now, but really how you deal with a troll. You just tell them in the comments, whatever, if you say so. They will not reply anymore. They will go somewhere else, because this is not what they want. They want energy from you. They want negative emotion from you. They want your anger, your fear, your sadness, your frustration. If you don't give that to them, just say, you're right, okay. Then they will be gone. The same with your thoughts. Give it a go. It works wonders. When I have a day or a few hours where negative thoughts are very active, I do that. And then I know with some time, the whole thing will shift, because I am not putting resistance against what is, so it doesn't persist. What you resist persists. Like I'm pushing against it, so this is pushing back. If I stop pushing, it just goes away. And then after minutes, sometimes hours, my state has shifted. Very important, one of the key elements. Non-resistance, neutrality, taking the energy away, just giving in, surrendering, and you will feel a total shift in your beliefs. The second one, this is what I do with not so strong beliefs. They don't hold so much energy. So the softer ones, the ones I have already worked on. There I flip the thought. So the negative thought comes up, for example, what if that project doesn't work? But I have already built an identity of, this is working out for me. My projects always work. I am good at this. So I've already put energy into this, and I've already built a belief system of this is working for me. And then just these thoughts show up oh, what if it doesn't work? Doubt, fear, all of that. Then when I know there's not so much energy behind it and I'm not going into non-resistance, then I'm actually flipping the thought. I see the thought and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to think that. I think the opposite, because I can choose my thoughts. I can choose my thought. And because it doesn't hold a lot of emotion and energy, I can just flip it in that moment. And I would say no, of course the project is working out. Everything is working out for me. I perhaps repeat it a few times, and it's more about shifting the thought when it comes up in the moment. So sometimes I have almost a little rant, 4, 5, 6 different thoughts around it, positive ones. Sometimes I'm just reframing or flipping the thought in the moment, and keep practicing that. Keep doing that in everything that happens throughout your life. All the small things, just keep saying oh no, I don't want to choose that thought. Why would I think that? No. I think everything works out for me, because some people say, you can just look at the thought and say hey, actually my thoughts don't create, or something like that. I see it a bit differently. I see that, yes, thoughts come from a whole belief system, and I can actually start weakening a negative belief system through changing my thoughts. So I keep looking at things from positive life, everything is perfect. Of course, things do work out for me. So I keep tackling a bigger limiting belief system from all different angles, and it will start weakening it. So at some point, coming from nothing ever works for me, through practicing throughout the day in many different areas, many different things, flipping these thoughts, oh, it's not working. Of course it's working. Everything works. In different areas, as I said, different thoughts. And this will then shift the whole identity and the whole belief system as a whole at some point. more and more. So I am someone who says, and it does work for me and for my clients, to flip thoughts throughout the day. Because then some people say like, oh, it's so much work and why put so much work in? Yes, but you're thinking about 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day, so or so. So I can consciously choose them, and it becomes my new normal to pick different thoughts, because every thought I'm thinking takes energy. So I can just decide like, okay, no, I'm going to think something else. Just in the moment, it's not a big thing. It's like, what if the weather is crappy later on and I want to go out? No, I just say like, hey, what am I thinking? No, the weather is going to be amazing. And all thoughts are basically affirmations. So I flip them because I am thinking so and so. So I choose the one that work for me, that benefit me, that create the reality that I actually want, you know? Okay, flip the thoughts, the ones that are softer, that are not such a biggie in the moment, that don't hold so much energy. That's number 2. And then number 3 is to remind yourself of your identity, to remind yourself of who you are. Basically, as I said before, we step into different states, different identities, either the one of our desired reality or of our not so desired reality. And the more you create awareness around that reality, the more you create awareness around this is how you actually create your reality. You know, sometimes that alone shifts everything. When you remind yourself like, hey, who am I being right now? Like all these negative thoughts, what is the identity this is coming from? Just the reminder itself will do wonders for you the more you practice these things that I'm teaching you here. At some point it's just like, oh, who am I being? Oh, I am being the person who does not have what they want. Okay, stop this now, shift, droop, go. Different thoughts, different emotions, different beliefs, different actions. You know what I said? Sometimes the reminder really works wonders. And what you can do to strengthen this identity, the state, is repetition. There are a lot of people out there who say like, oh, it doesn't work or whatever. There are people who say that it does work. It does work. Done. It does work specifically when you come from an identity of having. So it can be very difficult to be in a state of like, this is not my life, everything is shit, and then affirming for like, my life is wonderful, my life is wonderful. Even though it does work, it has worked for me. I have cured my depression with that. It's gone. I know from my clients who have shifted into intense states of confidence, coming from low self-worth, no self-worth, through repetition. So I highly encourage you to have a routine where you saturate your mind with something new, because this is how we build anything. We build muscle through going to the gym again and again, and through working out. We learn languages through practice, through repeating those damn words. We learn cooking through the repetition of like the same things, you know, like how to cut without cutting your fingers and so on. So you learn through repetition, and you also retrain your mind through repetition. So it is just basic, it's just common knowledge. It just makes sense, you know. There is like, for your little logical brain, this will make a lot of sense. So yes, just saying one affirmation throughout the day and thinking your whole life will shift can work for a few people who understand how reality creation works. For the most people who are not there yet, repetition is key. So at some point, saturate your mind. For the people out there who always talk to themselves in their minds, like me, people who are very like also auditive, like, you know, like words and like talking to themselves, thinking in words, do affirmations. Do a 10-minute routine every morning or 3 times a day where you have, and I have different videos for that, where you have five strong affirmations that you use that lead to your, or that come from your desired identity. Go into that state almost in the moment of like, oh, who would I be if I had that? And then affirm powerfully with conviction from that place. I am loved, I am chosen, I am adored, everyone loves me, or whatever it is. Or if it's self-concept, you know, like I'm happy and fulfilled, I'm stable, safe and secure within myself. I'm loved and adored, you know, I'm respected, I am so confident. So whatever it is, whatever you want to affirm for yourself, what you want to strengthen in you, Do it with conviction, do it for 10 minutes straight when you're waking up, or when you're taking a nap in the afternoon, or when you go for a walk, when you're in the shower. You can also split it up and do like 3-minute blocks when you're sitting on the toilet. I don't care, whenever. We always have free time throughout the day. We all have that. Instead of doing like doom scrolling, do a little affirmation routine. People who are very visual, you could do a visualization of that identity and then also have this like, oh wow, like I am so loved, I'm adored, have an image of that, you know, like how to step, or how would I, like what would you see if that was your reality. So what I'm saying here, this is not something necessarily like the step number 3, stepping into the new identity and building that new identity or strengthening that new identity in you. This is not necessarily something, it can shift something in the moment, but it's also something that is like for a longer time frame. That is something that is almost, here it's about sustainability. It's really about building the basis, building the fundament of a new belief system, of the opposite of the limiting, but the empowering beliefs, so to say. So the first 2 were basically something you can do in the moment. The third you can also do in the moment, and you can also, or you should do it in order to build a new belief system in general, a whole new set of beliefs in general. So it's something longer, like for the longer time, it is something sustainable. It's building a new fundament, a new basis. So I highly recommend that to you, that you implement some kind of routine. It's like specifically if you do need a little bit of repetition because you have been stuck in the negatives for way too long. As I said, there are people who can shift in an instant. Most of us are not there yet. And for those of you who are not there yet, I really recommend that. So saturate your mind with the new belief through repetition. As I said, we use repetition for everything out there. So why not for our minds? Why do you think it does not work? Because it does work. It does work. Your mind at some point has to accept that new reality. If you keep saturating it with something, at some point it will give in to the new thing, because this is how it was built in the first place. It saw, it heard, it experienced, and through that your old belief system was created. Exactly through that. You heard from other people, you're not good enough, have better grades at school, you suck, you're not good enough. You heard this perhaps, and this is how you built it, and then you created your own inner self-talk around that. Or you're ugly, walk differently, look at your hair, you're messy again. Again, a whole set of things you heard or you experienced from your parents. It's horrible, I know, but this then created these assumptions in the first place. Then you kept retelling that shit to yourself and you made it into your whole identity. So you can change this through repetition, through doing the very same thing how it was imprinted in you in the first place. And I have so much more to say about that, how you can how to can power up this even more. I will create a different video on that. Yes. How to make, for example, the saturation of your mind even more powerful, what you can use. I will do this in the next video. So for today, a reminder, the 3 ways how you can basically let go of limiting beliefs. The first one was to accept, to stop the resistance in the moment, like you deal with a bully or a troll. The second one was to flip the thought, or flip the thoughts in the moment, shift them into something different, into something more positive, at least neutral or positive. And the third one, remind yourself of your identity, of the real desired identity, step back into that, and also build the fundament of that new identity. Build it through repetition on a daily basis. Okay, that's it for today. I think that's my longest video up till now. But I think it's necessary, and it's good to have these reminders again and again. This works wonders for me. I hear from my coach the same stuff again and again, and I need these reminders, and it's just amazing to have that support. So this is what you can receive here from my channel. Okay, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking and commenting. And if you're interested in further coaching, then go to the description and read everything about it. Thank you so much, and until the next video.